I've lived in this house for almost 2 years now. Nothing strange has ever happened here. It's just a normal house on a normal street, quiet neighbours, dogs walking in the morning, cars pulling into driveways at the same time every evening. The kind of place where nothing ever really feels dangerous. That's why what happened tonight scared me so badly. I was heading upstairs to bed when I heard a soft metallic creak behind me. At first, I ignored it. I thought maybe it was the radiator cooling down or the front gate moving in the wind. But then I heard it again. Slow, deliberate, metal scraping softly against wood. I turned around toward the front door and instantly froze. The letterbox was hanging open and someone was looking at me through it. Two eyes. I could only see part of the face beyond them. Just enough to know someone was standing there in the dark watching me, completely still. I remember my stomach dropping so suddenly it actually hurt. For a second, neither one of us moved. Then I ran towards the door and pulled it open as fast as I could. Nobody. The street outside was empty. No footsteps, no movement, nothing. Just rain falling quietly onto the pavement. I stepped outside and looked both ways down the street. No cars moving, no people walking, nothing. I even checked beside the house in case someone was hiding there. Still nothing. I went back inside and locked the door immediately. At first, I tried convincing myself it was just some idiot messing around. Teenagers maybe. But something about it didn't feel like a prank. It was the way they stared. No panic, no reaction. Just watching me, silently, through the letterbox, like they'd been standing there for a long time already. I barely slept that night. Every noise in the house suddenly sounded different. The pipes, the creaking floorboards upstairs. Even the wind outside made me tense up. At around 3 a.m, I woke up needing the toilet. The house was completely dark as I stepped onto the landing, and without even meaning to, I looked down towards the front door. The letterbox was open again, and those eyes were there, watching me. I froze instantly. I don't know how long we stayed like that for. Maybe 10 seconds, maybe longer. But the entire time, they didn't blink once. Then slowly, the letterbox closed. A second later, I heard footsteps outside. Walking away from the house. Slow, calm, not running, not panicked, just walking. I ran downstairs again and opened the door. Nothing. Empty street. But this time I'd noticed the front gate was still moving slightly, like someone had just walked through it seconds earlier. The next morning I checked my Ring camera app. Nothing. No movement had been recorded all night. I actually felt relieved for a while after seeing that. I convinced myself maybe I'd imagined it. Maybe I was exhausted, stressed, overthinking things. But later that evening, I found muddy footprints outside the front door. Not many. Just enough to tell someone had been standing there, facing the house. I should have called the police then. Instead, I cleaned the footprints away and tried pretending none of it was happening. That night I stayed awake downstairs. All lights were off except the television. I sat on the sofa staring directly at the front door. Midnight passed, then 1 o'clock, then 2. Nothing happened. At around 2:40 a.m., I started feeling stupid. I remember actually laughing quietly to myself. I thought maybe the whole thing had got into my head. Then, the letterbox slowly opened. I stopped breathing. At first, there was only darkness outside. Then slowly, a face moved closer. Not enough to fully see it, just the eyes, watching me again. I stayed completely still this time, and after a few seconds, I realized something that scared me more than anything else had so far. I recognized the eyes. Not who they belonged to, just the feeling, like I'd seen them somewhere before, somewhere close. Then suddenly, the person's eyes narrowed, as if whoever was standing behind the letterbox was grinning from ear to ear. And then, the letterbox snapped shut. A second later, I heard footsteps walking away from the front door. Slow, unhurried, like they knew I wasn't going to follow them. I called the police that night. They searched outside, checked the garden, walked the streets. Nothing. No sign of anyone. Before leaving, one of the officers asked if I had problems with neighbours, or if anyone unusual had been hanging around recently. I told him no. But after he left, I realised something that still makes me feel sick thinking about it. Whoever had been standing outside my front door knew exactly which stair creaked when I walked upstairs, because the moment my foot touched it, the letterbox opened.